Hi, welcome to Michigan Spotlight. My name is Kupelian, and I would like to thank you for joining us. We have a very special program today, and we are proud to announce that we will dedicate this program to all mothers in Michigan. Mothers, the enormous human sources for loving, caring, and giving. I think you would agree with me that if there is one thing pure and does endure, it's mother's love. I'm so delighted also to announce that we have a very special guest today that will join us later. She's a terrific lady, a wonderful mother, a great vocalist, and her name is Mariotto. However, we'll begin our program as usual with a little cultural vignette to test your cultural literacy. And these are very pertinent. I chose some questions that relate to mothers. And there will be 5 quick questions. So I'll go at it quickly. And then Sylvia Boman will be joining me for a special program. Question number 1, a very simple one. What day is Mother's Day observed? In the United States, we observe Mother's Day. When is it? I have learned it's on the 2nd Sunday of May, every year. I hope you got it. Each question is 20 points. Number 2, can you name the 2 sons of Adam and Eve? We are talking about mothers and children. The first husband and wife were Adam and Eve. This is a biblical question. Who were the sons of Eve? 2 sons. Name them. I think my camera person knows, so he must know the Bible. But I may have trouble. Let's see. Cain and Abel. Is that the pronounce? Okay. So that's 2 answers. You got yourself another 20 points. All right. Can you name the famous goddess of love and beauty in Greek mythology? Now, you know, we deify mothers as goddesses. And the one in Greek mythology is very important. We use it in literature. Her name is... It starts with an A, Aphrodite. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. If you didn't get that point, well, we will learn. Number 4, I'm hurrying here because we have a terrific program. As I said, call your mothers, grandmothers to watch this program, and your friends. You'll love it. There are paintings from Middle Ages all the way, statements from Napoleon to Lincoln. Number 4, can you identify Margaret Mitchell? Margaret Mitchell, an American. Great woman. How many people know? She was a great novelist who wrote the most famous movie that's made with Clark Gable. It's called what? Gone with the Wind. The author of that. So great author. Number 5 for the last one for another 20 points. How are you guys doing here? You are not smiling. You are not saying. You don't know these questions, huh? Can you identify Gloria Steinem? And shame on you if you can't. Gloria Steinem. She's a modern. You know, she is what? She is the, you tell me, Sylvia.
Well, the editor of Ms. Magazine and one of the main leaders of the women's liberation movement, and now.
Yes, and some of us are for her, and some of us may not be that much friendly with her. Okay, 5 questions, 20 each. You did so well. Sylvia always says, I know them all. So I'm going to put Sylvia on the spot. So camera on her. I'm going to put a bonus question for 100 points. Who was the, don't say it right away, who was the greatest lady, a queen from ancient times that ruled Egypt? A great lady who had an affair with Julius Caesar, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe we should not be that risque here, but...
And was immortalized by Elizabeth Taylor?
Yes, it was immortalized by Elizabeth Taylor. The name Cleopatra. That's 100 points at home. If you failed on 5, you got this one, you are doing well. I think about 5 minutes is up. Now, let me say something about Sylvia Boman. Sylvia Boman has majored in literature, but she's also a painter. And I've seen her paintings. She has done an excellent job. Not only that, she has acted on behalf of our Michigan Spotlight, publicizing it in the newspapers. Plus, on many occasions, I've asked her to work with me, do the research, and put the program together. So this is like she, again, acted as my assistant producer for putting this special show dedicated to mothers. And I asked her to look in literature. Let's see what these great men had to say about mothers. From Napoleon down to Lincoln and other people in literature have praised our mothers. So she selected a few important statements made by various people in history. Go ahead, Sylvia.
Well, there's an old Jewish saying that says God could not be everywhere, and so he made mothers. Charles Dickens, whom you all know as the author of David Copperfield and Oliver Twist, said, Michael, I think you'll enjoy this. I think it must be somewhere written that the virtues of the mothers shall be visited on their children, as well as the sins of the fathers.
Fathers, again.
There's an old Spanish proverb that says, an ounce of mother is worth a pound of clergy. And Harriet Ward Beecher said the mother's heart is the child's schoolroom. Ralph Waldo Emerson, a great transcendentalist, said, men are what their mothers make them. And Eugene Field, the author, whose mother died when he was only 6, said, I have carried the remembrance of her gentle voice and soothing touch all through my life. Lincoln, on becoming President of the United States, said, all that I am or hope to be, I owe to my angel mother. And Dwight L. Moody, the great evangelist, said, all that I have ever accomplished in my life, I owe to my mother. And Benjamin West, the artist, said, a kiss from my mother made me a painter. Count Leo Tolstoy, in an essay on his mother, who died when he was only 1.5 years old, said that because of what he learned about her, he always remembered her throughout his life and thought of her when he was faced with overwhelming temptations and prayed to her soul to aid him, and that prayer always helped him. And those are some of the quotes that I found about mothers.
What do you think? Now, Sylvia is a mother herself, or one, and also she has her mother who is how old?
My mother is 81.
81 years old. Now, what is your feeling, or would you like to express this wonderful thing, you know, in the United States to have this special day in May for mothers? And many countries don't have this. Do you have any thoughts about who started this, by the way, I think from history?
Yes, in 1914, President Woodrow Wilson and a joint resolution of Congress declared that the second Sunday of May should be put aside to honor mothers for their contributions and inspiration to and leadership of our nation. And there have been other countries that have also honored mothers. In England, there was a Mothering Day, and Yugoslavia had a Mother's Day previous to ours. And it's also become a tradition that on Mother's Day, one wears a white carnation to honor one's mother if she has passed on, or a colored carnation if mother is still living.
All right. Mothers, I hope you have a mother living, and don't forget to honor your mother and keep contact. Here in the United States especially, I found out, see, I lived with my mother for a long time. We were in the same town, in the same city. They got married and they stayed together. But now the world has changed. In the United States, your children get married and they go hundreds of miles away to other states. And you get together sometimes from Christmas to Christmas. It's a wonderful feeling to keep in touch and let your parents know before they pass away. Before they pass away. Let them know you love them. Keep in touch with them. Now, I've also asked, besides writers, great painters from the Middle Ages on have always painted women, mothers, motherhood. And I asked Sylvia, I said, Sylvia, I have classified, let me show the many faces of a woman. A woman is actually many things, you know. I mean, she's a mother, she's a wife, she does the housework and all that. So let's classify them and let's select paintings that indicate or represent those categories. So we'll start. I said, first of all, let's pick up the one that represents the nature of motherhood. A painting, a great painting. Go ahead, number one painting.
Yes, Michael, this painting is by George Henry Harlow, not a very famous artist, but I thought it was a beautiful setting of children surrounding and being loved by their mother. It's Mrs. Waddell and children.
All right, thank you. The second category that I chose, which symbolizes working mothers. Mothers as workers. You know, we don't realize that for centuries mothers worked at home, washing, cleaning, and cooking. Here's the next painting.
This is called Housekeeping, or The Little Country Maid by Camille Pizarro. And the child in the painting at the side is presumed to be Pizarro's fourth son. It was done in 1882.
Great painting. I like it. I love those paintings. Here is another one that will symbolize the social being. A woman as a social being interacting towards men. You know, we men can't do without women. Next painting will indicate that.
This is The Boating Party by the Impressionist Auguste Renoir, and it shows the camaraderie of people enjoying an outing in the summertime together and friends.
And now, a painting that will symbolize the most important for me, love and romance.
This is by Antoine Watteau, and it's called The Gamme d'Amour, or The Gamut of Love. This is an earlier painting, 1684. It showed the country setting and the man serenading the woman in a very romantic atmosphere.
And now I decided that we should have something more risque, where woman shows sexuality and sensuality in the next painting.
This lovely lady is Gabriella with Roses, and it is also by Renoir. It was done in 1911, and she was actually a housemaid for their family.
I must say, admit here that Sylvia showed me a lot of sexual pictures, paintings from the Middle Ages. They were so voluptuous and all that. I thought that we may be censored, so I decided to eliminate the other paintings. But I also indicated to her that women have been featured as in the arts. So let's take one category where they are dancers in dancing. Okay, next picture I think will show that.
This is by Degas, Dancer with Bouquet Curtsying, and this is a pastel, whereas most of the others have been oil paintings.
And now, women as musicians. Musicians.
This is by Jan Vermeer, a Dutch painter, an earlier Delft painter of 1632. It's oil on canvas. The young woman is seated at an ancient instrument called the virginal, which was a predecessor of the piano.
Yeah, that's a new word I learned, virginal. I thought it was virgin, but it's virginal, and it's a piano in the old times. I haven't seen the one here. And the next one is in mythology, women have been represented. That's no, the paintings,
yes,
okay? Excuse me, that's the painting.
This is by Edouard Manet, Eva Gonzalez, and she was the wife of an engraver, and Manet gave her this painting as a gift after it was finished.
And if you can see that there are more flowers, right? The feminine touch, let's say. Okay, the next one, in mythology, we have presented women.
This famous painting is The Birth of Venus by Sandro Botticelli, 1485. It's one of our earliest works. And in here, the nude is beauty transcended and brought to the realm of myth.
Great work. And in spiritualism and religion, the next painting will, I think, indicate.
No, this is politics
okay.
and
Yes.
world affairs. And this is Liberty Leading the People. It's symbolic of the French Revolution, and it was by Eugène Delacroix, 1798 to 1863. It hangs in the Louvre.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful that, you know, liberty is shown by a woman, and actually the Statue of Liberty is a great symbol for America. The next one is spiritualism, as I said it just a while ago. So let's have that painting, please.
Yes, this is a tempera on wood. It was a panel altarpiece by Masaccio, and it's the Virgin and Child with angels. And it typifies all of the hundreds, thousands, no doubt, of Madonna and Child that have been shown through the centuries as the prime example of mother love, Mary for her son Jesus.
And the final one that I love so much, the Pieta.
The Pieta by Michelangelo was done when he was only 24 years old. I'd like to hold this one just a little bit longer. It was his first masterpiece and the purest of all his statues. And here the youthful Mary, whose face is even younger than her son because of her virginal quality, breathes sentiment and feeling and the love of a mother for her child.
And that's all. I hope you enjoyed these great paintings from through the ages. And we'll take a break, short break, and we'll be back with our very, very special guest that you will all enjoy. So stay with us.
There is a mighty spirit shining out.
In Salisbury, Maryland, the hungry are being fed. In Wind Falls, Indiana, a man who learned to read at 47 is making sure others learn earlier. In Hope, New Mexico, people turned an abandoned school into a thriving community center. In Boston, Massachusetts, neighbors set up a crime hotline that's making their streets safer. From Seattle to Galveston, from Buffalo to Fargo, every day, someone in America is doing something to light up another life. But there is so much more to do. The light to do it is within us all. We only need to share it. Contact the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
You are watching Michigan Spotlight. My name is Michael Miran Kupelian. And I said we have especially honored today with a very, very special guest. And as we show some of the clippings from the newspapers, she's well known throughout the country, both in Canada and the United States. Her name is Mariotto, and she has been featured in Top Hat in Windsor, Caesar's Palace in Lake Tahoe, Marco Polo Hotel in Miami, Premier Center in, I think that's near in Michigan, and the Center of Performing Arts in Macomb County. So what I would like to do at this point, this will be a free discussion, but I must say this much. That she has biographical notes, she has been listed in the newspapers and all that. This lady, to me, is very inspiring, for she has survived despite many tragedies that have taken place in her life. If nothing else, if she wasn't an artist, a performer, a great hero, or heroine, I should say, I should congratulate, oh, there she is. Now we get the clippings a little bit late, but that's where. So let's go to the next one. That's Sophie Tucker there. That's again singing in the newspapers. These are newspaper articles, clippings. And the next one, please. My great favorite lady there. What is the fairy? The fox lady. She has been also known, okay, she has been also known as the happy lady, right?
I like that.
Happy lady.
Yeah.
And for me, I should, on this occasion at least, I should say great mother of 10 children. God bless you. 10 children. Can you believe that? I couldn't even make one. And here's just 10. God bless you. Let's start with sort of domestic things. I can't believe that you were able to make 10 babies.
Oh, yeah.
And I read something very interesting about the romance you had with your husband. Can you set up that thing? I assume you are an Italian.
Right.
And your husband was an Italian as
Right.
well. So tell us a little bit how you got together.
Well, it was, the war was just about over, 1943, and I was about 18, and my husband had been taken prisoner of war. He was an Italian soldier fighting with Rommel in Africa. He was
On the side of the Italians.
the
against us.
Italians. He was taken prisoner in Africa and brought to the United States, and when they came here, the young men who were willing to collaborate with the government and do war work for them, they signed commitment papers that they wouldn't cause any damage or misbehave or try to run away, and the government let them help with war work. And they paid them 60 cents an hour for incidentals, cigarettes, chewing gum, and whatever. A lot of the young men would conserve their resources and put them together, and with government supervision,
Subsidy, yeah.
Sergeants, lieutenants or something, they would rent a hall and have a dance. They'd have a band. A lot of these young men had family here. They had relatives here, aunts and uncles and cousins. Some of them even had their mothers and fathers here who wanted to communicate with them and socialize with them to help make it easier for the boys while they were here. While my cousins were going with the fellas, they asked me if I wanted to go to the dance. I went to the dance. First night I went to the dance, my husband saw me.
And that was it?
He fell in love. I didn't like him for a couple of dates. But then he sweet-talked me, and I fell in love.
You fell in love, you got married, and you produced?
No. 6 months later, he had to go back home. And he couldn't come here unless I went there to marry him. So I went to Italy and married him.
You got married.
After 3 years of writing back and forth, it was the only way to get him to come here.
And you produced how many children?
10 babies in 22 years.
10 babies. Are there grandchildren?
3 grandchildren.
3 grandchildren.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your children? Because I think they are involved in entertainment
Oh, right.
business.
My oldest son has been involved in entertainment for, about 30 years, and he just finally gave up on it because as talented as he was, very few make it big in entertainment, but he did it because he loved it. And my son David is a keyboard man. He's an excellent pianist. My 2 youngest daughters have been singing for about 15 years, my 2 youngest daughters. And who else? David, John, Annie, and Annette. That's about it. Then I have a carpenter, and I have a mailman, and I have a machinist, and I've got, they do all kinds of things.
All right. I think since I'm running out of time, I'll leave the last question to Sylvia to ask you. Sylvia has known this lady for a long time, her singing career. She has followed newspapers and all that. So, and she has been, I think, inspired. She's an admirer of you as well as myself. Go ahead, Sylvia, if you.
Yes, to me, Maria, I read a quote which to me is true, that you are a living example of what a single parent can accomplish when you're determined to succeed. And we know that when your husband died at 45 of a heart attack, you were left with 10 children. Tell us how you felt and what you did, and maybe also include what would be your advice to mothers today.
Well, it didn't seem true that he had died. I couldn't believe that was something I didn't believe ever could happen, and it happened. And I was nonplussed at first. But right away I thought, well, it's happened. Now what are you going to do about it? There's 10 children here that need to be taken care of, and they were my whole life. My children were. But I thought I'd get an education, become a teacher. I was still young enough. And I went to school and got a degree, and I said, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I had Social Security, which helped provide food and pay the bills, but that's about all it did. So I decided that I wanted to sing. That was my first love, was to sing. And I've been singing for 23 years. As for children, my advice is we don't know what it is to be a parent. We learn as we go. When the children come, we learn about it. And it takes us all the while we're raising them. My advice is common sense, discipline, and a lot of love. And I think that's what will make children grow up to be as good as my children are.
And thank you for the advice. And I think young people there, young mothers, I guess, can follow your example. And I would like this, I didn't even tell her, we don't have a piano, we don't have professionals here, but I will ask her to sing a song to conclude this segment of the program, and we may have a little 1 or 2 poems towards the end. Okay. And she is a beautiful, marvelous singer, dynamic. Today, actually, she performed in front of 500 people in the Church of Today in Warren. And I was there and I saw you. Now here, if you can sort of at least sing any Italian song, or Mama.
Very quickly, a literal translation. Mama, only for you my song takes wing. Mama, if you are with me, you will never be alone. How much I love you, these words in this song will tell you. Makes my heart sigh. Mama, the most beautiful song I sing is for you. if you are with me, you will never be alone. And just one verse and one chorus of the song goes something like this. Mamma, solo per te la mia canzone vola. Mamma, sarai con me, tu non sarai più sola. Quando ti voglio bene, queste parole d'amore che ti sospira il mio cuore, forse non si usano più. Mamma, ma la canzone mia più bella sei tu, la vita, e per la vita non ti lascio mai più. Mamma, mai più.
Bravo! As they say, bravissimo
Yes,
in
right.
Italian.
Thank you.
We thank you very much. It was our honor to have you here, and people can be inspired by you.
And they can
Now
see
I will.
her in Lexington at the
Lexington, you are singing in
restaurant.
I'll be
Lexington.
appearing in Lexington this summer at my daughter's restaurant called Steuben's. It's 15 minutes north of Port Huron. Beautiful restaurant in the Bay Area.
Drive north. Summer is around us,
Yes.
and enjoy it. Say that
Beautiful
again. The
small
place, Lexington.
Lexington, yes.
And what's the name of the restaurant?
Steuben's is the name of the restaurant. I'll be appearing there from time to time this summer.
Okay.
Honey, it's Mom. Please let me in. I'm worried.
Learn to see the signs of mental illness. 2 out of 3 people who get help get better. For a free booklet, call the American Mental Health Fund.
I like to do with my children at school. Hundreds of stars in the pretty sky, hundreds of shells on the shore together, hundreds of birds that go singing by, hundreds of birds in the sunny weather, hundreds of dewdrops to greet the dawn, hundreds of bees in the purple clover, hundreds of butterflies on the lawn, but only one mother the wide world over.
Okay, great. You can segue to the second one without any comments from me, so we can enjoy you more.
They say that man is mighty. He governs land and sea. He wields a mighty scepter o'er lesser powers than he. But mightier power and stronger man from his throne has hurled, for the hand that rocks the cradle is the hand that rules the world.
Aha, mothers again. And we have just a little mind. I'm going to forego the thought of the week. I'm not going to say that. I'll ask you to finish off with a impressive poem. And then we'll go right into the credits.
Backward, turn backward, O time in your flight. Make me a child again, just for tonight. Mother, come back from that echoless shore. Take me again to your heart as of yore. Kiss from my forehead the furrows of care. Smooth the few silver threads out of my hair. Over my slumbers your loving watch keep. Rock me to sleep, mother, rock me to sleep.
And with those words, we leave you and wish you that you join us again a week from today. We thank our guests and you for watching us.